And welcome back to Talk of the Town. Thanks so much for being with us today. And also thank you. This is Cameron Kennedy. He's a psychotherapist. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We were talking a little bit during the break, and this man has got so much to offer. I'm thinking about stopping and seeing him myself just for life coaching. He's great. So I think I've got a sense of kind of how you got into this and what makes you specially suited for this profession. But let's hear it in your own words.
Well, sure. I mean, I'm an Australian and I've traveled the world a lot and things, but therapy isn't necessarily really about me. It's about the client and how I can serve them. And so I feel like I have a special talent. Most people have said I was a born therapist when I was a kid, and I just help people find clarity and relief and context in their lives, I guess. And so I feel really good about being able to build a relationship fairly easily with clients.
And I can feel that too. Just sort of talking to you, you just have this aura of just calm and understanding and wisdom, which is just great. So it's great to be talking with you about this today. We were talking a little bit too during the break about families and how you can help families and that whole dynamic. Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Well, it's a pretty outrageous challenge to have a family these days. Mm-hmm. And if you're a parent, what limits do you set? How do you even do it? There's so much overwhelming information. And so sometimes what I'd like to do is work with just the parents, or I can work with the families, because I can help clarify the relationships that exist, help parents recognize and work together. It's about being a parent and executing the really important job of parenting, as well as still including love. And, families are an amazing support system for us as we all mature and move in the world, especially kids. So.
And it's such an interesting time, too, to be raising a family. There's so many other things going on in the world today. You've got social media, and there's just so many challenges to navigate that it's great to have someone to kind of bounce that off of. And so much information online, and it's hard to know where to turn. So it's great to have someone to talk to about that. Let's talk about, we talked a little bit about the parents. What about just the couples, the mother and father, or maybe just a married couple or a couple, any kind of couple together? Can you stop them from fighting or from having trouble? Or
I don't know if
what do you do?
Well, that's not up to me. But sometimes the nature of a committed relationship, sometimes I like to use a word that no one knows called hermetically sealing, where the commitment that we share as a couple brings about movement and change like no other relationship, but it can also be an expression of personal issues that manifest in that relationship. And so if I can help work through personal issues, it can take away the blocks that we're experiencing from communicating and ultimately enjoying the effects of being in a couple relationship,
And sometimes you just need that third person that's not vested in who's right, or,
Yeah, sometimes I'll have to get couples to point at me and not at each other. I was like, okay, talk through me and we'll start from there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when they reach me, it can be pretty bad, but it's amazing how quickly things can change when you really sit and go, okay, we're going to work on this using our hearts and minds, instead of just denying it or moving around it and things like that.
So that's great that you're able to do that. Now, what if somebody is just, not deeply troubled? They wouldn't necessarily have thought of seeing, a psychotherapist. But what if they're just looking for, just somebody to bounce something off of, or life coaching? Can you work with those people as well?
Sure, absolutely. The uniqueness about the therapeutic relationship is that what happens legally, I'm bound to keep it within the doors. So, no one in the family hears about it if it's a very private matter that you feel like you want to work through, I put a little joke there that, it's like the confessional without the guilt. But it can be, seriously, this particular relationship can be really helpful sometimes to individuals. And there is a little bit of a stigma on psychotherapy, or the idea that you've got to be crazy to see a therapist. It's not really true. You know, it can just be a friend to talk to that maybe you don't have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And yeah, again, that third person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks so much, Cameron Kennedy, for being on the show today. And definitely check him out and check out his webpage and his Facebook page and see what he can offer for you. And don't you go anywhere. We've got more right after this.